Venku is the #1 platform to book hunting trips online. Search and compare over 3,000 guided and self-guided hunts available across the United States. From pristine ranches out west for elk to fast-paced Texas hog hunts and swampy Louisiana gator camp, you can book it online at venku.com. If you're an outfitter who spends all your time in the field, Venku takes the headache out of keeping up with the business side of your operation. Venku handles payment processing, waivers, bookings, and simplifies communication with clients. Get started for free at venku.com. You are listening to Off the X podcast with your hosts, Forrest Carvajal, Tyler Wells, Barrett Moon, and Matt Covington. Brought to you by Venku, Adventure Awaits. Pattern Pros, where simplicity meets results. Hunt Proof, the premier waterfowl mobile app. Migra, custom waterfowl ammunition. Rixie Outdoors. Wellens Land, Arkansas's leading real estate and development group. And Pond Creek Duck Calls. Call with confidence.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off the X podcast. I'm Forrest Carvajal here with my best good friends. I'm going to go in reverse order this time. Mr. Matt Covington, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Does that mean I'm your least best good friend if you're going in reverse order? No, it's just
I normally go in right-hand order, and Tyler's always to my right.
I got you.
So that's why I went with you first this time. We're changing it up. Okay. And you've got the coolest story of the night, too. So.
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah, you should be. Across the table from me, Mr. Barrett Moon, how are you, sir?
Doing well.
Doing well. You finally got off work. It took you, I think, a whole month.
At least a year.
Yeah. At least a year. We're so glad you're here. And Mr. Tyler Wells to my right, how are you?
Doing well.
Doing well. Everybody has been working their butt off, it seems like, except somebody who's been like across the country just filming this beautiful country and animals and Pacific Coast ducks and stuff. So
who are you talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, me.
Who am I talking about? Oh, yeah. I'm talking about you.
I was out of town last week. You said not working, so I'm like, I wonder who that was. That big camera carrying around kind of felt like work a little bit.
I bet it was. I mean, it really was work, I'm sure. But to us, when we're sitting at home watching it, it's like, man, that fool.
No,
He's just out taking
the kind
pictures.
of work that you dream about for sure.
Yeah, but it is work. It has got to be work because I can imagine when you're sitting there filming right before somebody's about to shoot a trophy, you're thinking, please don't mess this up.
Oh, please. Yeah. That was a thought.
Did I hit the record button?
Yeah.
Have you ever missed the record button? I've missed it.
Yes. We said we were never going to tell this story, but I'm not going to say the guy's name. So I did not hit the record button, and he missed the deer at the same time. So we looked at each other. We're like, all right, that never happened. Let's move on.
This never happened.
Matt said, I still have a job. I didn't push the record button. He shot over its back.
So the record button is the kill button, apparently, then.
Yeah. Just make sure you press red.
I love it. So let's get into this because I've waited to hear the story. I haven't heard the story. Where were you? What were you doing?
Yeah, so we flew into Vernal, Utah, and we were just north of there up in the mountains. I went out there with Ben Wellens. He had a elk tag for a second year in a row. Kind of a redemption trip for him. Last year we went out there and he hit the elk. Unfortunately, we couldn't find it. Got word later that it's pretty certain that the elk lived through the year and they saw him the next year. So that was at least some good news. But he wanted to go out there and finish the story. We got a lot of really cool footage last year. And the goal was to go out there and he was going to kill a bull. So we went out first day. They're like, they're kind of rutting. They're kind of not, just kind of some guide speak. You know, you don't want to get them too excited.
This muzzleloader or gun?
Yeah,
or
it was a muzzleloader hunt. Okay. So the state of Utah kind of followed Colorado's steps, and they went to open sight muzzleloaders only this year.
Why?
So no scopes. Well, muzzleloader technology lately has gotten so impressive. They're shooting out to 700-800 yards. So it was basically just turning into another rifle season.
Gotcha. Okay. So they do the open sights to hopefully limit the distance that people are shooting?
Yeah. Okay. In theory, that's what they're doing.
I'm not a big game hunter, so I don't know.
Yeah, so that definitely made it extra tough this year because you had to be a little bit closer, a little bit more steady. And so, yeah, we went out there first day. elk were absolutely fired up, screaming everywhere. We were in the middle of them. Ended up actually throwing a rock at an elk because he wouldn't leave, and we were waiting on a bigger one to come in, and our guide hit him in the horns. So that's how close he was. He was like from me to Tyler.
Is that legal?
A rock?
I mean,
can you imagine?
Wait a second.
Throwing a rock and something freak accident. And I think
How big is an elk, though?
800 pounds?
I don't know, man.
How do you miss an elk if you can hit him with the rock? Like, if he's in the distance to hit with a rock, how do you miss an elk?
Oh, we were trying to get him to go away. He was a little guy that wouldn't leave us alone, and we needed to move in on a bigger elk.
It's like a Jake turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Just-
I'm still trying to figure out how he missed. He threw and he hit the antlers instead of the body.
Oh, I got you.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you had a rock and you were throwing at this animal. You're obviously not going to kill it.
Baseball background.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
He didn't make the varsity.
Okay.
Got it.
Knew I shouldn't have had that popcorn.
But yeah, that's how fired up the elk were. They were running in. We were calling elk in, screaming in our face, running through them. Nope, not big enough. Let's keep going. Let's go try to get another one. Let's make a sneak on this one. So first day we had a really good game plan going into the rest of the week, what we wanted to do. Second morning, woke up. So pretty much out there in the mornings, you're driving around glassing from the truck to make a play in the afternoon for the afternoon hunt. See where the elk were overnight, where they went to, because they're not really like deer where they're going to stay in a certain area, especially during the rut. They can be on one mountain one day and 10, 15 miles away the next day. So really you're going out making a play for the afternoon hunt. So we had a good plan on Tuesday afternoon, which was the second day of the hunt, and got to the top of the mountain. The wind wasn't great, so we just kind of hung out there for a while waiting for the wind to switch. And while we were sitting there waiting, we heard an elk bugle within 100 yards. So we kind of popped up over the edge, and when we did, you remember that scene in The Lion King where the wildebeest, the stampede?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like, all these elk running as fast away from us as they could. And there was a big bull in the group, but just open sights, moving, he wasn't comfortable taking the shot. I wouldn't have been comfortable taking the shot.
What
So
does
we
an
kinda-
elk at 100 yards sound like? Like, is that something like if you're not expecting it and it fires up, is that something that you just like clinch up because like, oh, that's way closer than I expected?
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, he's definitely in the game. We either need to get away till the wind shifts, or we need to go see what's going on, because we're going to be screwed if we just stay right here.
Gotcha. Because I don't know anything about it. You've been around them a little bit,
Yeah.
And I know that I guess kind of the communication with them and hearing them bugle is part of the game. So I was just curious, like 100 yards, that seems really close to me.
Yep. So it was really close, and he ran really far away. So we got
At a rock distance.
Yeah, couldn't have hit him with a rock. Need a slingshot or something. So they took off. We kind of settled back down for a couple, 30 minutes to an hour, and then some more bulls started screaming. We go in their direction, glass them up. Finally found a couple shooters that we were interested in, and there was a pond down at the bottom of this draw. We were on one hill. The elk that we wanted to kill was on the other hill. That was my elbow.
It's like, what was that?
Sorry about that. We were on one hill. The elk we wanted to kill was on another hill, and it was basically a race to get to the pond. Who can get there first with a marginal win. So we had a couple guides. They were kind of going back and forth. The older guy was like, man, we need to take it slow, be methodical. We have 3 more days. And the younger guy, his exact words were, F the wind, we need to go right now. So that was the plan that we went with. We just started running basically as fast as we could to try to beat them to the pond. And we got there about the same time. And when we did, we heard another elk bugle to our left. Looked up over the mountain, and the big bull that we saw earlier that ran away, he heard all the commotion down there. Well, here he comes again. So they meet at the pond, and they start fighting.
Dang.
Really cool footage. And their attention was on each other, so it allowed us to move up just a little bit more. A little bit of a long story short, got set up, first shot, had to reload.
Oh, no.
Missed the first shot.
Okay, totally missed.
Yeah,
okay.
missed the first shot over the back, and the first bull that we saw took up over the mountain. He was gone again. But the second bull that was there, he was still... they were both 2 big, old, mature bulls fighting for this herd, so he stuck around. Ben made a shot on that one and connected. We were celebrating, high-fiving, watched him go up over the hill, and just wasn't right where you want to shoot him, but it was a lethal shot for sure.
Yeah.
So we decided to back out, give it overnight, and then went back the next day and found him piled up. So Ben got his redemption bull, and
So
it was
leaving it
really
overnight.
cool.
How stressful is that?
It's a very stressful truck ride back to camp, night at camp, quiet dinner. If anybody's been in that situation with an elk or a deer,
I mean, you remember Matt during
I do.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
it
thinking
happened
about.
to me.
And that deer's not an elk.
No, not at all.
No offense to your deer, because it was a good deer.
No, I know what you mean for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with last year in the back of our mind, it was tough, made it even worse. I'm like, if we don't find this elk, we're never coming back. Like, he's done. Elk hunting is tainted forever in his mind. So thankfully we found it the next morning. Celebrated, got him cleaned up, got him down to the processor. And on the ride back, so it's day 2 of a 5 or 6 day hunt, they're like, well, do you want to try to kill a cow? I'm like, absolutely, I want to try to kill a cow. I didn't plan on coming out here. I love elk meat. My friends love elk meat. My family does. So if I have the chance to fill the freezer, I'm going to take it.
Never had elk. Well, I guess I'm not a friend.
Well, just wait a
never
little
had
bit.
I've never had elk. I've had oryx and sandhill crane.
He said chicken strips.
I've had chicken strips. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't like
No
elk.
elk.
You wouldn't like elk anyway.
Really?
Yeah, you probably would.
Gosh.
We'll find out.
So, cow hunting out there, they were pretty confident on a place they could take me. We set up about 300 yards from another pond. They're like, yeah, we'll be done in 30 minutes or so. 3 hours later, we still haven't seen an elk. we're sitting on the side. We're talking about packing up. It's starting to get a little bit dark. We have, 20 minutes before legal shooting lights up. And then an elk pops out at the top of the mountain, 1,000, 1,500 yards away, long ways away. And he's like, get ready. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 1,500 yards away. What do you mean get ready? He's like, no, when they come, they come. So I looked up, and all of a sudden, here they come sprinting as fast as they can.
Wow.
And they closed that distance from the top of the mountain to the pond in probably 2 minutes. It was
Really?
so impressive. So they all bunched up down there, waited for one to separate, took a shot, heard impact, couldn't really tell where it was, super confused. Like, all right, rack another one. Shoot again, hit low. Like, that's weird. I usually don't shoot this far. It's 280 to 300 yards, but I'm on a bog pod. I'm steady. I trust this gun. Pull the trigger again, low. Pull the trigger again.
Low as in missed it or?
Hit it 3 of the first 4 times.
Okay. Okay.
But it was low. Why'd you look at me like that? Shot number 11 ended. Shot number 11 ended at about
Good grief.
10 yards.
Did y'all have to go back to
So-
town to get bullets?
No, he just
No, we
went
were
and got
out.
a rock.
Yeah, no route. The highlight of the night was me being 5 yards away from this cow, and I'm out of bullets. I'm waving my phone in the air, telling them I need some help. And I look up, and here comes Ben Wellens on a full sprint down the mountain, like Paul Revere telling me the British are coming, with 3 bullets held in the air.
Oh my god!
Way to go, Ben.
Our last 3 bullets. And yeah, so I'm not saying the gun was off. I'm saying I may have had a bad dope or something, because I went back and watched it, and I mean I was hitting a paper plate, but it was just a lot lower than what I was aiming at. So that is how my first elk experience and my first elk tag. 11 shots later.
Hey, at least you got it.
I want to know the emotions though. Like you shoot because the first shot you've got to be so pumped up. Like I'm getting to shoot my first elk.
Oh yeah,
right.
I was steady. I felt good about it, but absolutely I was excited. And then it turned from excitement to confused to I suck to
What shot are you on? What shot are you on when you get to I suck at this?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Wow. So what did the other 7 shots feel like?
I don't even know. I don't remember. It was all a blur at that point.
Aiming at that point, he was just pulling the
He's just
trigger.
throwing it up,
He's like,
shooting.
"Oh, here we go.
I was like, I'll keep throwing them at her, but I have 0 confidence right now.
Did
So
you
it ended
change
up
your
working
aim?
out.
Like, did you aim at the same spot every time, or did you like, I'm just shooting at the body at this point?
I was shooting at the same spot because nobody could really tell me where I was hitting.
Gotcha.
Except for the one spot I got. They were like, you shot high, which they just saw the dirt go underneath it and shoot up. So that didn't help me whatsoever because I was shooting low. I wasn't shooting high. But yeah, it was a roller coaster for sure. Definitely felt, I know we're laughing, but you have that part inside of you where you just want to end the suffering for the animal. And I mean, you watch it back on camera, it felt like it was 3 hours. It was 12 minutes at the most.
Yeah. I bet that did feel like a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, first shot was a lethal hit. Just some of those animals are tough, and you know how they get, and it takes a while.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big freaking animal. We just talked about 800 pounds or whatever they are.
And then I walked up on it, and I'm like, well, I shot a bunch, but I didn't touch any meat. So it's all going through the process.
Hey, whatever works. But you got it.
Yeah,
You got
I
it.
did.
Did you save anything from it other than just like, I'm going to eat it?
The ivories.
The ivories?
Yep.
What are the ivories?
They have 2 ivory teeth.
Really?
Yeah, and that's kind of like
I didn't know that. Where is it?
Memento, keepsake. What's the right word for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Memento.
Where, like, are they the front teeth?
No, the
Like the very-
top and the back.
Yeah, like a back.
Okay.
molar.
They're behind the gold ones.
Yeah.
Behind the gold ones? Okay.
Yeah. So
I gotcha.
We spent the next few days. Ben had a bear tag too, but he didn't really have a desire to kill one. We just used it as an excuse to go out and see some pretty country and listen to some more elk. Got up in the woods, chased them, got a lot of cool footage and pictures. And
Did y'all
then-
ever see any bear sign?
No.
Really?
Nope. They were pretty surprised that they didn't because we were in an area that's well known for it, but they're
I
just
bet if he would have let that elk lay for a day or two more, you would have found them.
probably, yeah.
Can you bait bears with elk? I would imagine not.
I don't know what the law is. I'm not going to say yes or no.
I don't know what it would be about hunting a gut pile.
So, was it black bear?
Yeah, black.
Okay. I didn't know. Do they have both over there?
No.
No,
Just black bear.
Just black bear? Really?
Yep.
So what's a grizzly bear's range then? Like how far down do they come? Aren't they in Colorado?
They're in
they're in
the-
Colorado.
I would be guessing. I was told there are no brown bears in the area where we were.
Oh, okay. So they could be in Utah, just not in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
If they're there, I would say they're probably at like the border.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no idea about over there.
But one of my favorite things that I ended up seeing was we went right across the border into Colorado on the guide's family's property, and there was a pond just slammed full of ducks. You may have seen some of the pictures that I posted, and
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
they had like every phase of the mallards. Some of them were still completely in their summer colors, and some of them were full plumed out, green as could be. And that was really cool just to see them in that type of terrain, getting pictures of them with the mountains in the back, because that's something we are not used to at all here. So that was pretty special.
It was cool, really cool. But it was also cool that you took a picture and there's like 4 different species in that one picture. So
yeah,
that
what all was it? Mallard, widgeon, gadwall, and
a spoonie.
And a spoonie.
And a
There's
spoonie.
always a spoonie.
always a spoonie.
Spoon.
Those widgeons were gorgeous though.
Yeah.
Like man.
Yeah, there were a couple teal out there too, and I'm pretty sure we saw a pintail. But other than that, yeah, it was really, really pretty. Really
Were you
cool.
close enough to hear them?
Yeah. I was able to walk up on them pretty close.
Oh, really? Did you ask about when their duck season is?
It was opening first weekend of October, I believe. So
So like
coming up in a
this
couple
weekend.
days. Yeah, it was the youth hunt while we were there. Nobody was out there hunting, but it was the youth season.
Did you ask them about if they duck hunt?
A few of them do. A few of the
Yeah.
guides. They do a lot more jump shooting though on ponds out there.
Okay.
They're not really set up. They'll just walk up on them.
I mean, jump shooting's fun. That's how I learned duck hunting with wood ducks. So, Colorado and Utah, did the country look the same, or was there one that you're like, oh, this is just better than the other?
No, we were right there on the line. So
Just
it
not for
was-
both?
Yeah, it was a 30-minute drive to get to
okay.
Colorado. So it's not like we were going a long ways.
What
It
was the
all
weather?
same. It was in the 40s in the morning, which was really cold, and then it'd warm up to the mid 80s in the middle of the day.
Ooh.
So you were definitely dressing differently for the morning hunt than you were in the afternoon. And
Yeah.
I dressed for a morning hunt, and we ended up taking off into the mountains, and I was just drenched. But thankfully, I've been on enough of these. I had an extra pair of clothes. So when I could finally get everybody to slow down, I'm like, we need a second. Hold on. And I
gotta get
completely
naked.
stripped down and changed all my clothes, and then I was back in the game, good to go.
Yeah. Dude, how much walking? Are you sore?
Not right now, but I was.
When you got home?
We were about 6 to 10 a day
Yeah.
when we get up in the mountains and go.
And that's up and down.
Yeah.
It's not flat ground.
Not a ton of it. there were a couple of days we could drive pretty far up, which was nice. But once we got out, it was still, you're in the mountains, you got to go.
Yeah. I've never tried it. That's intimidating to me. How much walking you
Was
got to
it
do.
public or private land?
This year was private.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to race any other hunters to that elk?
No.
Who was it? We talked to somebody that was talking about racing. Wasn't it Devin Singleton?
I can't
That talked about, I can't remember if he was
think so.
deer hunting or if he was elk hunting. And he talked about the one that he went after. He could see orange jackets like all around.
to him.
Yes, running to it, and he got there first. I'm pretty sure it was Devin.
They shot that one that was like 80 pounds or whatever.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I can't really remember, but I think it was Devin. Oh my gosh, yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was.
There's a ton of public land out there, but it's a long time to draw for the
Oh,
rifle
really?
or the muzzleloader. They said the archery tag takes you about 3 to 4 years and you can get it, which I'm probably going to start putting in for. That's one thing I've never done is put in for tags out west. I'm super, I guess, ignorant to the process. I just haven't really researched it at all, and I need to. Half of me is like, I wonder if it's too late. I'm too late in the game because some of these tags take a long time to draw.
Yeah. I think
But-
it's like one preference point a year.
Yeah.
And you can pay, you could pay something and get a bonus point, but it's every year.
Do you have to pay just to be in the draw every year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
pay your money and then,
And then
if
you pay for
don't
the tag if you get one?
They refund your money if I remember right.
I know certain states are different.
I don't even like talking about draw systems.
Do you want to? It's a little different out west than.
Well, I mean, this is
Yeah.
big game. You're managing a herd, but you know, I was on the phone with people today talking draw systems, like in Missouri and California.
You've been wanting
asking
to talk
people
about this
that.
for a long time, and you just keep hinting at it.
I haven't researched it enough yet to really give an opinion on how stupid it is.
I got you.
I mean, my opinion is I think it's stupid.
Uh-huh.
I think it's dumb, but I want more information before I go
Before
diving
he
off
says
and
anything public.
Yeah.
before
on a hot
I
mic.
dig the hole too deep for me to get out of. I'm not very tall. I can't get out of a very deep hole.
It's not going to take much for us. We'll throw you a step ladder.
But yeah, Utah, it was a great trip. Obviously, I wish my hunt would have gone a little bit differently, but you can't really complain when you have a freezer full of elk coming your way. So
Do you know how many pounds of elk you got out of it?
I don't yet.
You don't?
I haven't.
Are you
I
gonna-
didn't
does that
ask
matter?
him.
A bunch.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Cow, what do you think cow is? 500, 600, something like that?
4 to 5, probably maybe 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a big animal.
they are big animals.
It's a very big animal.
And then I came home and sat in a tree stand after chasing elk around the mountains. I was so bored. I'm like, this sucks. Why do I do this?
Well, why don't you just chase the deer like an elk?
Because they don't bugle.
They may not bugle, but you might call one in, can't you?
It's not as easy here in Arkansas. You go to the Midwest,
not?
it's a lot easier to call them in.
Oh, is it
They're a lot
really?
more
Buck
aggressive,
to doe
yeah.
ratio here is a whole lot
Yeah, they don't really have to fight here.
skewed here.
Uh,
Out in the Midwest, you can rattle one in, grunt one in,
why is that?
because the buck to doe ratio.
Well, how did they get the buck to doe ratio like that there compared to what we have here?
Just better deer management, I'm assuming.
I guess.
I don't know. It's just better out there.
It's better.
The buck to doe ratio.
It's
Oh,
easier.
the
it's
buck to doe
easier
ratio is better.
Yeah, it's easier to call a buck in somewhere like Nebraska or something like that than it is
Yeah.
here. Like you can
Because
rattle.
if there,
How many deer
if there
can-
are 4 dudes here and 3 does in the area.
Well, I get that, but
Yeah.
like you
Or one.
spark man, we can
Yeah.
shoot 6 deer here.
Yeah.
How many can you shoot in Nebraska?
I don't know.
You only shoot like 2.
So why is deer hunting better in Nebraska?
It's just years of good management.
So we don't have good management.
Oh God! Don't get
Is that what
more
you're
started
saying?
on the management. Here we
I'm trying to. I don't know deer. I'm just trying to figure this out.
I will say the 3-point rule has helped the
Oh,
state of
yeah.
Arkansas big time.
Yeah.
It's not just if it's brown, it's down anymore. But if it has 3 points, it's probably going to be down around here.
I've showed really good restraint, sir.
You did?
Yeah.
You couldn't see your pin.
No, on the other one, he had 3 on one side, very small, and then one massive.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Unicorn
I'm
on
so
the
proud
other.
of you. Tyler
I
actually.
I looked at him. pretty
Tyler
hard.
drew on a deer the other day. But it was too
Ooh, I
late.
haven't heard about this.
I drew on one deer 3 times. I drew on another deer once.
That's a lot of rethinking there.
No shots fired.
It's a lot of going. Man, that's a lot of a lot of let off on this bow, and then trying to ease it down because once those cams start, then you're like, whoa. And the release is very touchy.
Was it the same deer?
No. So I went not opening day. I went Sunday, I think. Wasn't it Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went Sunday of opening weekend, and I got in the stand early because it was cool, and I was like, these deer are going to be moving.
He texted me at 12:30. I'm headed in. I'm on a plane in Phoenix. I'm like, what are you doing?
And so I think I seen 5 or 6 deer that day. A bunch of yearling does that they weren't very big. And I've been watching cameras, and there's one doe that's just massive. She comes in low light, still plenty of light to shoot her. The whole time she's in there, she's chasing this little buck around, like just whipping up on him. Every time she'd stop and go broadside, I'd draw back on her. About the time I'd anchor and get set, she'd run him off. I'm like, crap. And she'd run completely out of the food plot, so I'd let it back down, hang it back up, get settled in, and then here she'd come back, and then she'd stay facing me. So she'd go to quartering, I'd grab the bow, get ready again, Ranger. All right, she's 25. Draw back on her, and then here she comes.
She gone.
She did that 3 times, and the last time she left, and I was like, good riddance. So, and then went one day after work, and I don't know, seen, I think 3 or 4 deer, but it was real late when they started moving. And then I was actually getting all my crap together to get down out of the tree because I was going to pick Matt up on the way out. And I'm getting stuff around, and something catches my eye, and it's horns going out across the food plot, and I'm like, well, crap. So of course, get an arrow back out of the quiver, get my release back on, pull the quiver off the bow and stab it in my bag, draw back. I'm like, he's like 18 yards and could not see from my peep to my sights. So
What happened?
It's just too low light because you got a little peep sight at the back, and then you've got 3 sight pins on the front.
I gotcha.
And it was just, the light was gone. So
how big was the deer?
Down. He was an 8 point. He wasn't huge, but I mean, I'd let him ride in the truck.
I don't know anything about this deer
bodied,
stuff.
So
yeah,
I'm meat hunting. I don't really care if that.
Well, wouldn't those little does be the tastiest?
Yeah, but there's not much meat on them.
Oh, well, you can shoot 6 of them.
Got a bunch of greyhounds loaded up in the back of the truck.
I'm trying to help the buck to doe ratio here.
Carrying 2 of them back.
We got over his shoulder. We got to manage this thing right.
Well, I'm trying to take this big mature doe out that, she's got these big floppy ears, got a big old belly on her. I'm like, that'll be a good eating doe right there. Couldn't do it. So,
is a big doe a better tasting doe than the little ones?
Just more meat on her.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking questions here.
Feed these kids in here.
Would they know the difference
between a young doe and an old doe?
Yeah.
No, but I would whenever I went and paid for processing. I was like, this is all I got for all that money.
Spray painting the spots off of it before you take them in.
Is this one worth a whole tag? Can I half tag this one?
Get my hanky out and wipe the milk off its nose.
The one time, well, I've been deer hunting twice in my life, maybe 3 times. I've been 3 times. And I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but the last time that I went, my buddy Cameron took me to his place, and he put me in this big box stand, okay, overlooking this field. And he's like, you sit here, I'm going back over here. I'm going to get in my climber stand. I'm like, okay. And it was the first day of modern gun. Like I said, I've never really deer hunted. I don't know what to do. So I'm sitting there, and like I'm really enjoying watching everything wake up. It's cold, sunny. It's just perfect, pretty morning. And I'm enjoying that. And I've been watching squirrels and hearing squirrels. And then I hear something to my left. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And it's some deer. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, crap. I'm deer hunting. Like, I had the freak out moment. Like, what do I do? You know, like when you see ducks, you grab the gun and you get ready. But this is deer hunting. So, like, do I move slow? What do I do? And it was just one. And it came out. I was like, okay, I got to get my gun. I got to get ready. Like, I'm not shooting a doe. Like, I don't want my first deer to be a doe. So I'm like, okay. He's got to have antlers. He's got to have 3 on one side. Comes out, like, I don't see any antlers or anything. I'm like, well, okay, I'll put the gun back. And I just watched it. It was cool to watch a deer. So it leaves. About 10, 15 minutes later, here comes another one. And there's another one. And there's another one. 3 of them. I'm like, oh, one of these has got to be a buck, right? So I get my gun and I'm ready or whatever. Here they come out. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna raise up right now while they're behind that. Bing! I hit the pole when I'm trying to get the gun up. So I freeze, and I'm like, oh crap. I peek my head out, and they're just still going. They didn't hear nothing. They don't give a flying fart about me. And they get out there, and I realize doe. I'm like, well, dang it. Okay, well, I put the gun back, and I get a text from Cameron. He's like, "Will you see anything?" I'm like, yeah, man, I've seen 4. And I get like all caps, like, "Why haven't you shot?"
Right.
Well, they're all does. He goes, "Dude, I'm hungry. Shoot something." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll shoot." And then I think it was like 30 minutes to an hour after that. Like I hadn't seen anything for a while. The sun's starting to get up, and I hear something behind me. I'm like, oh, this one's gonna be close. I'll shoot this one for Cameron. And then I see orange. I'm like, what is that? And Cameron pops out. I'm like, what are you doing? I fell out of my tree stand.
Oh crap!
I'm like, are you all right? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. Can I get up there with you? I'm like, sure. It's your place anyhow. So he gets up there. We're sitting up there. He hadn't been there 10 minutes. And here come another one come out. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, dude, you shoot it. I'm like, if it's a buck, I'll shoot it. And he's like, dude, I want you to shoot it. Okay, we'll see. Well, it comes out and it's a doe. And I'm like, I ain't shooting it. He says, all right, I'm going to shoot it. So he gets his gun up, and he had some issue with it. I can't remember what it was. He had to put the gun down. He's sitting over there fooling with it. And I'm watching. I'm like, I'm about to just pop up and just shoot this thing. See what he does. So when I finally make the decision to do that, he gets his gun back up. I'm like, okay, I'll just watch. Pow! He shoots it. It just falls. I'm like, sweet, we killed a deer. I'm like, this is cool. And we go out there to the deer, and I think we had the same thought when we got to it. We got to it, and it's like, this thing's little. he just grabbed it by the legs, just hoists it, just throws it in the back of the ATV. And I was like, that's a little bitty deer. Like, I'm really glad I didn't shoot that deer. But
Cameron wanted a sandwich.
he got one. But no, it was thanks to Cameron, because that was a really cool event. That was when I realized, if I ever get into deer hunting, I think I would like it. I still haven't gotten into it. And he's tried to get me into it a few times. Last time I hung out with him trying to shoot a bow was embarrassing. I don't know if I'll ever try bow hunting again, but it was a great story, and it was a really fun day to do that. But that's my last deer hunting experience. It was an experience.
You killed one. Or you saw one.
I saw one get killed.
Yeah.
I saw one get killed, and I helped process it too, because he was like, I'm not taking it somewhere. I'll do it myself. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm here.
Okay.
I get to help with this. But that was cool too. Like, I've never seen one cleaned and processed or whatever. It took us time, but we did it in that day. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deer season. You deer hunt at all, Barrett?
Do I or have I?
Do you? Have you? Do you?
I have long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of it the few times I went out.
Did you kill one?
So, I have shot one doe with a rifle.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I believe I was 15, and it was with my uncle.
Nice.
Yeah. My uncle was the only one in my family that really introduced me and my brother, because my dad doesn't hunt, but he introduced me and my brother to hunting. It took more with my brother than me.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little bit older and was pretty much already set in the sports, so I really didn't take to it. So
I gotcha.
It didn't really bite me until later on in life when Tyler got me into hunting ducks,
duck
and I was like, well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now I'm broke.
And we know what that's done. So.
Never going to financially recover from this.
Exactly. All 4 of us.
See last podcast of last year after
Right.
duck season.
Exactly.
So it's October.
Yep.
We got duck season next month. We can officially say duck season is next month, which makes it seem closer than what it really is. I think it's like 50 days away or something like that. I think Max posted that today, which seems like a lot longer than a month away.
Right.
You don't want to acknowledge early goose, do you?
I was about to say,
Okay.
Yeah, we got early spec season coming up.
Are you going to go?
I mean, if I had the opportunity, I might, but I don't know. I mean, if I have the opportunity, yes, I will go. Are y'all going to go?
Yeah,
I
if
was
I get
under the
opportunity.
impression you swore it off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, if we went, we just going to go and not say anything.
like I said,
about it.
I will go. Like, I've
According to
still
him,
got to
we never
figure these
invited
things
him
out.
anyway,
That's
so.
true. Y'all can send me the picture of the ones y'all kill.
Okay.
But
Pretty
no,
sure he
it's
was
like they just
invited on
get
that.
on my nerves so much more than ducks do. Like, they get under my skin because the last spec hunt that we went on, we could get them close, and it seems like this is what we do every time we go. We do all this work. We could get them close. We cannot get the geese to finish. Like
It sounds a lot like duck hunting.
That's what drives me nuts. Is like I don't know how to make these birds finish.
Well, okay. Remind me, the last goose hunt you went on, was that the one where you were not covered laying on your belly on a levee?
Yes, that was it. Was that one?
That might have something to do with
I don't
it.
know
It
why
might
they
have.
wouldn't finish in the decoy.
It might have.
Did you see that hobbit laying on the levee?
Oh no, I was hid. I was up in a bush. Like I was like, I'm talking. If they're gonna see me, they're gonna see anything and everything. But I was.
He was mud colored.
I looked like mud.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one where you rode on the trailer.
rode the
right?
trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Gosh. No, I've talked to quite a few people lately about like trying to figure the stupid specs out.
I was fixing to say, I figured with you, like not liking to be bested, that you'd be like, all right, I'm fixing to turn into a spec hunter.
I mean,
Well,
it might be a little bit like the turkey thing. I might be studying a whole lot more than what y'all think.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I like to do all my work in secret. You got to remember that.
I mean, we killed a few that day. But
We did. We killed two, and we got them in close.
Yeah, but we had snows and other
We
birds
got
working.
we
Yeah.
had a lot of birds work, like we did, but it felt like, man, we did a ton of work to shoot these two birds.
Yeah.
And I mean, we do a lot of work duck hunting, but in my mind, I don't work as hard duck hunting as what I do when I go goose hunting.
How many decoys y'all put out?
I don't remember how many we put out. We put out quite a few.
More than we put out the day I went with you?
No. Well, we had it right when we went out because that wind, they were going to come in
Yeah.
regardless. It wasn't like that when we went out the next day. So
That day we went, there was a grain silo blew across the road. We had just
We
missed
didn't
like
have
a
that much
tornado.
wind.
I still think about that ride out on the side by side. Tyler was like, "This is the worst decision we've ever made."
I got
And
out
then
of
we
the
got
truck and like you had to hang on to
Yeah.
the door because
You
they're
couldn't
like,
keep-
it's going to rip it off.
Yeah, you couldn't keep your. Yeah, it was going to fold the truck door back.
It was bitter cold. It was right before that
Oh, I
that
remember.
snow came in. So you're hanging onto the door. You can't open like both sides, or else like everything in your truck's just going that way. So like you have to make sure this door's shut, and then go around the other side, open that door to get what you need out, and then shut that one, go back around. You know, because nothing's ever stacked where you need it that late in season.
Yeah.
And I was driving in, and I was like, I don't remember that being laying there. And then, like, Energy was out with their bucket trucks. And I was like, I don't know how these cats are even going to get in a bucket truck up there today. It don't look like a kite hanging out. But it had blew, like, a massive grain bin across the road. And
Now everybody knows where you were hunting.
5 of us idiots are out there.
wearing them birds out.
we was wearing them out. But still, yet, I was standing there, and I was cold already. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've done this year.
This is another reason that the specs drive me nuts. Is the hunt that we went on with Zach when we took Zach hunting.
That was frustrating.
And it's like you're on the way out there, and it was cloudy, it was misty, the wind was howling, and like it was gross weather.
He was
But
vibrating in the back seat.
The geese were up. Like every field that we passed, there was geese flying. They were moving. I was like, "Oh, we about to mess these birds up." We got there, we got set up. And the wind died, the sun came out, and it got hot. And it was like you knew immediately in your gut, like, we ain't gonna kill crap. Like it just, we got here an hour too late is exactly what happened. And we sat there and watched nothing.
Yeah.
What was
Nothing.
it? 2 years ago when we really got into them good and we're hunting quite a bit. Like we done good work that year on them.
Well, we had the perfect conditions. We hunted right after everything thawed.
I mean,
Ray Charles could have killed him that day.
I don't know what to tell you. We were shooting mallards and spec decoys.
That's how dumb it was.
If it was like that every time, I would get rid of everything and just that's all I would do. Shoot specs.
You'd be one of the terrible people that just gave up and just
I don't-
only killed the specs.
I don't know if I've ever hunted early goose.
I hunted early
wanted
goose
to.
once, and I think it was 2 years ago. I hunted with my golf coach from college, and it was the last day of season, and I think we shot one. Was all we killed, but it was like got to go, and it wasn't hot or
It's not
nothing,
miserable,
so it was
yeah.
something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I had fun.
It's got to be better than early teal.
I don't know.
I don't
Y'all
know,
like
dude. You
and
get
me
on
and
it.
Justin went one year.
For what?
Early goose, and it was like hot.
Well, was it?
Didn't you go-
No.
the very first year that they had early spec, didn't you go?
Yeah.
Because I think I remember you were going and I was at a golf tournament of all things.
Yep.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if we would have been one field over, we would have wore them out. Like they were just piling in there.
Another thing that I'm like, this is spec hunting stupid. I'm sitting in this field watching them all end over there, and I can't do anything about it.
Nothing I can do.
You were off the X.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were on.
Thanks for that, Matt.
They were hitting the neighbor's field really good early season. I thought I didn't know a thing about them. I was like, yeah, we'll just call them over here.
Right.
You know what else seems to happen more when we go spec hunting? We get checked by freaking game warden.
That's right.
Why does that happen more spec hunting?
I got checked twice in 1 year spec hunting.
I'll never forget that dude driving out in the field.
Dude.
And as soon as he got there, the light switch came on, and here they come. It was like we're watching these groups of specs try to come into this field, but there's this big green truck and a boat sitting out here in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Like he said, y'all can shoot him if you want to. Yeah,
like you
I'm not
could've
loading my
also-
gun with you here.
Yeah.
You could have also walked across the field instead of driving right here to us.
Yeah.
And you could have gotten a blind and sit down.
That was frustrating.
Yeah, I appreciate me wasting my money for you to come out here and check me.
It was going to be so good.
So I do have a question for you guys, so we can quit complaining about the game fish. They don't do everything wrong; they do good things too. So I've heard this a lot lately, like the good old days. Duck hunting's not like the good old days.
Okay.
Okay, and we've had somebody on the podcast, Dave Owens, and I really like his perspective on turkey hunting. He's like, I think we live in the good old days. Do we live in the good old days duck hunting? That's your own opinion. But I think the point is you need to be happy with what you got right now because it could go away.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where I'm going with this. So if we look at the good old days in y'all's mind, when was the good old days? Because I've got the stats. That's what I did today.
I got into duck hunting at the end of what I would consider the good old days.
When was that?
0405 is when I got into it. And
You want to know the populations in 0405?
sure.
And just a little more than what they are now.
Well, the place that I grew up, that I duck hunted at there, we seen one other group there consistently. And now then you go there and it is like, you can't tell me there's not a ton more hunters now than there used to be. Because,
I got those too.
Well, good. I'm glad you do because we went there and
What year did you say was?
0405, something like that.
Let's see, 04, 05. The numbers are like identical.
Wow.
It's like 1.5 million.
Apparently they all came to that one WMA. Because so one of the areas we hunted, it was a huge moist soil unit. And there were like 3 places that you could get and hide good at. Well, there was always us and one other group that hunted there. And one of us got in one spot, one of us always got in the other spot. We, just whoever got there first, you knew the other one was going to be in that other spot.
Yeah.
I went back there 6-7 years ago, and it was like Grand Central Station.
You want to know how many hunters there were 6-7 years ago? So we're just going to go 2018.
Okay.
Still 1.5 million.
Well, 0.5 million of them were over there.
Numbers are still the same.
I don't know. I'm just
Numbers
telling
are still
you.
the same.
What, hunter numbers? The
Federal
number?
duck stamps.
Got it. Okay.
We're going federal duck stamps
Okay.
here.
Well, I'm just telling you there was a
What
lot
about-
more people there then than there were whenever I first started hunting.
Do you have correlating numbers with ducks versus federal
Population?
ducks? Yeah.
I do, but I have to count it. So what year do you want?
I mean, for me, the good old days was 2018.
You're right.
Yeah.
2014, 2015 is, according to this chart on ducks.org, that was the highest numbers we've ever had.
2018. Trying to think where
That was one of my
In
better
total
years,
duck numbers.
Now that I think about 2018.
I don't even know.
I think it was 2017, but yeah, 2017, 2018, they're right there
that
in the
was
same.
year I got out of college, and my buddy from Florida was living up here with me, and we hunted almost every day, and we killed a lot of ducks.
Still in that 1.5 million federal duck stamps too.
I'm going
Really?
to say that's probably about the same time that we had the place in Russellville.
In Russellville, yeah, that was hot.
And the place on the Cypress Creek. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good year.
You're right. And I agree with that. The one thing that I think of when I look at this chart, you can pass it around if you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Show and tell.
Okay.
It's good.
So the one thing that I see with this is
It's a pretty chart.
history seems to repeat itself on here. We're up here real high, and then we go down to pretty much the same level
Yep.
where it sucks. And then we come back up, and then we suck and come way back up. Right?
Yep.
We're down here. I think we are in 100% one of those valleys. Could be good. Could it get worse than where we're at right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could according to this chart. But I think if history repeats itself, we'll see another climb eventually. What do you think? What do you think has to happen for it to go back up?
I think it's all weather in Canada.
Yeah.
I
They
think
have
that's
to
all it
have
is.
a wet spring, so that way the farmers can't get in there and farm everything around those potholes. That way it spreads the ducks out more, and the predators aren't just wiping them out consolidated in one area. And then they got to have cold weather with snow. You got to have snow cover.
You have to have snow.
to be able to push them off feed. Because if it's just cold and there's nothing keeping them from eating, they'll just sit there and eat.
I want you to send me that chart, and I want to send it to one of my meteorologist buddies and be like, "Hey, can you do a study for me, just like quick? I want to see the correlation between the good old days on this chart and the weather that we had those years."
Thank you, because when I tried to do that or thought about attempting that today, I did not have time because I wanted to look at like water levels up there in Canada and see how wet their spring and everything was, and I didn't have time to do that, to correlate it with that right there, because I'm very curious about that.
Can James give us a shout out on the weather?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking of, though. He's a weather nerd. Barrett knows him too. They work out together, and I grew up with him. He's one of the meteorologists at Channel 7 where Ansley works.
Yeah, I would love to know. But one of the other things that I wanted to see was like, when it goes way up, does federal duck stamps go way up? And when it goes way down, do federal duck stamps go way down?
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds
I
like
would bet it just stay the same. Because duck hunters are the eternal optimists.
Well, what we've talked about this before, but what year do y'all think the most federal duck stamps were sold?
Wasn't it like?
Oh, we've talked about this.
Yeah, I know we have.
70 something.
You're right. It was 71, 72. There were 2.4 million.
Yeah. Then there was a bunch of people saying this is for the birds.
2.4 million. So that's a million more than what we got now. A million more hunters than what we got now. And everybody complains about the pressure now.
What were the limits like back then? Do you know?
I hadn't looked that up.
Early
either.
70s?
Haven't looked that up.
Because when did the point system start being implemented? And then when they went to a couple, like,
You're asking a lot of questions that we don't know.
I told you
ask
I
questions
didn't
all the time.
I didn't have time to do all
we
this.
know the answer to
Write
most
your
of these
questions down, and then I'll try to figure them out before the next
Submit
podcast.
them
Sorry.
at least 7 days.
Y'all
prior.
hang on.
I didn't know we
Y'all
were
keep
talking
talking
about
while I
tonight.
count real quick.
So I wonder, we've got like the federal duck stamp numbers, but out of those federal duck stamp numbers, how many of those are bird watchers and stuff like that watching birds versus actual hunters using it?
But in 72, the population of birds was pretty much exactly the same as what it is now.
In 72?
Say that about bird watchers again. You think that they're buying stamps just to kind of further?
Yeah,
For
because
conservation.
Yeah.
I mean,
bird watchers they'll buy federal duck stamps because the money goes to conservation. Now, I think you're probably in my opinion, this is just me throwing it out there. There's probably 90 to 95% actual hunters that are buying it.
Oh, I'm
now,
not
there
saying
are
it's
some,
like a huge number.
and there are some people that buy them just to collect them too that don't actually
I've
participate.
never thought about that.
yeah.
aspect of
So
it.
I grew up next to Hollow Bend. It's a national wildlife refuge. Well, if you have your duck stamps, you just blow through the gate and go. I hope it's still like that, but it used to be. I don't know what it is now, but you just blow through the gate. Or if you didn't have your duck stamps, you had to pull it to the side and you had to pay like $2 or $3 every single time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you want to go in there and fish all the time, you could either stop and pay, or else you buy a duck stamp and then you just roll on. It's got to be the federal, but still yet. I mean, we bought it and we never duck hunted growing up, but it was just so. But going into deer hunt early in the morning, because you could bow hunt it. So going in early in the morning to hunt or going to fish, like you didn't have to stop every time. So we'd always buy them.
I mean, I think Arkansas has a voluntary turkey stamp now.
They do.
Have y'all seen that?
I've seen
Yeah, it's like $9.95 or something like that. I bought one. Yeah.
that. Man,
think-
look at him. He went from hating turkeys, now he's buying stamps voluntarily.
I'll do all I can to help manage the stuff.
I think the weather correlation thing is a good idea based on Earth trends. I mean, we'll go through 8 years of warming versus 8 years of cooling to see the changes in the weather versus what we're seeing in bird numbers. I think that's a great idea if we can get that history.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. I mean,
pressure, James.
I mean, I'm curious.
I'll go to Todd. I'll do it. I'll go to Todd.
I'm curious to see what with all the as wet as it is right now. I mean, what is today? The 3rd of October, and I mean, there's a lot of everything's pretty saturated.
Oh yeah,
I mean, especially you get up in northeast Arkansas. I mean, my goodness,
we're set up to have a better
opener.
I would say the landscape is set up to be better for the birds this year than what we've had in a few years.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're going to have, hopefully, because the forecast for the next 10 days or 14 days, it doesn't look, it's all sun and dry, but
I'm not cussing the sun right now.
I know you're not, but I would like to know that we're going to have water. But as of right now, especially like all the private land guys, they have plenty of water.
Oh yeah,
to be ready for the opener, which is good because that, the more ducks that we can keep here, the better. And that the private land people definitely help out the most with that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I've got guys that they caught the rain, but then they were like, well, man, it's not even October yet. Like, should I cut it loose or should I hang on to it? What should I do with it?
Yeah.
Guys are filling reservoirs up because they're like, in October, it's going to be dry and we're going to need all this water we can get. So, they're pumping all their reservoirs up out of the bar ditches, trying to hold all of it that they can.
I don't blame them.
I don't either. Like, I told them, I said, I'd fill that stuff up. And I said, if we're looking like we're fixing to get a big rain or something, I said, drop it a couple of feet and, then we'll catch it again if we have to. But that way you don't top anything. But I can't see where it would hurt to go ahead and start holding, especially in fields. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, geese get in there, run them off, then let the water out of it. But
early season's coming.
They're going to hit it dry or wet. They don't care.
Yeah.
Goose, they just don't care. So, no, I think with as wet as it's been this summer, there's tons of food on the landscape. All the moist soil units are rolling. I mean, they've got smart wheat out the wazoo. And then, we've got a guy we're doing some work for. One of their properties is 1,200 acre WRP ground. It's full. It filled up off that first hurricane that blew through. And he's like,
we got a lot of water then.
He's like, I'm not turning it loose. He's like, I'll hold on to every bit of it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not trying to pump this place up. So,
I don't blame him. Sorry, this just popped in my head, but what do y'all think about them doing the workforce thing? Have y'all seen that?
I was going to ask about that.
Days?
Yeah, those
the
work
work days.
I wish they were not on days that I had already had plans going. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see. They talked about it's gonna mainly be boat lane cleaning,
Which
and
is
stuff
fine.
like that. Yeah, I'm
For the people
Take
that
what
don't
we can
know what
get.
you're talking about listening, a.k.a. me, what are you talking about?
So like they're doing 2 or 3 work weekends.
Oh, it's
They-
more than that.
It's 4 or 5.
I think, I
Game
thought it
and
was 5 or
fish?
6.
Game and fish. Sorry, and you have to apply for it, and then they're going to reach out to you and tell you what dates they've got, how many spots they've got left open, and basically go over what you're going to be allowed to do and what you're not going to be allowed to do.
Preseason.
Like October 5th.
Yeah, this starts this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the 5th was one of them. The 20th
It's
was
every
another.
weekend. It's every
was
weekend.
it? But it's
Yeah.
like it's scattered out, not every weekend at one WMA, if I remember right.
Yeah, there's a couple, I think, at Biomeda. Don't get me lying. I'm just
There was a couple at
Biomeda. There's one at Dave Donaldson. I want to say Hurricane might have been on there. Black Swamp might have been another one. Some of the popular ones which need help, and I really appreciate that they are saying, all right, because they used to do this, and I guess they had an issue with it because the public couldn't control themselves.
Well, people were creating new holes. I remember when.
Whatever it was, but I really like that they're saying, hey, we're going to give this another shot. Because that's just proof that, like, hey, we're willing to listen to you. We'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
Just please don't prove them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it to get to the point to where if it was, and this is like 50,000 foot view looking down, but I would love it to get to a point to where they're like, hey, in the off season, if it's dry enough for you to get in and work on this state owned ground, because I mean, we own it. Not one of us own it, but everybody that pays in taxes and all this crap. I mean, it's yours. They've been put in place of watching it for you. and supposedly doing what's best for the land. But I would love to see it to get to a point where they're like, hey, if it's dry enough for you to get in and work on it, then get in there and work on it. If there's trees down in a hole, you can work the trees up and get them out of the hole. We're not taking anything green. If it's laying down dead, you can clear it out. You know, if you want to go in and weed eat the grass out of the hole, that's fine. But I'd love to see it to get to that.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to do is you're going to have small groups of guys that are like, hey, we're going to clean these runs out that go to these certain holes, and we're going to know, like, we can blast through here, and we're at least going to get on them for a few weeks before everybody else does. And if you only limit it to a few weekends, like 1 month, that's four weekends to be able to get out there and do something. And that's if something weird don't happen and we catch a big rain.
Yeah.
So I would just like to see that.
Hopefully they'll do it again next year and they'll plan for it better. I think it was more of, I'm not going to say spur of the moment, but it was, a little bit spur of the moment this year.
But it felt like it.
Yeah. As far as the announcement was like, hey, here in the next couple weekends, we're going to do this.
Did they announce it like last week? Like super recent?
It was either this last week or the week before.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It's not more than 2 weeks that it's been out there.
If you're married and you're on the go like we are, I mean,
dude, yeah, October was planned in July.
Yeah, I need these things to come out like, hey guys, we're tentatively planning on doing this in October on these weekends. Like I can say, hey, I'm going to circle this on the calendar, and if it's where we can do it, then I'm going to go. I'm not going to have anything set in stone.
You know what the argument to that is? Well, if you cared that much about it, you would cancel your plans and do this.
Well, those people are not married.
Sorry, I do care more about my wife. I'm sorry.
I want to get to go during duck season and don't want to be like, well, you remember in October when last minute they planned something and you dropped what we had going and you went? So, I don't know. I'd like to see. I'm excited that they're letting people go in and clean out boat lanes and stuff.
Step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm proud of them for allowing that to happen, but eventually that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do here. And I'd be fine with them saying, hey, let's do volunteer like add-on tax or whatever. Like, hey, you can bump up and we're going to plan on running.
Easy.
I don't think I'm paying any more tax.
No, it's a volunteer. Whenever you're like on your state or your whatever the tax is, you can voluntarily pay.
Yeah,
volunteer to give me some back.
I'm pretty sure that they have something on there that you can donate to the Game of Fish. I'm pretty sure there's.
I want it earmarked of what I'm volunteering my money for. I don't want to be looking for the ivory bill woodpecker again. So
he's out there.
But like if they say, hey, in this WMA this year, this volunteer tax is going to go to, if we get enough money, we're going to go to underbrushing. We're going to go to all these tops that the logging companies left in here, working these tops up.
I'm curious what the stipulation will be when you have to apply for it and then they email you or get a hold of you like, okay, well, Forrest, you get to pick up aluminum cans and Tyler gets to pick up.
From my minute understanding of it is they've said we're working on boat lanes.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to be working on boat lanes.
Got it.
Yeah, it was boat lanes, nothing in the holes, don't manipulate.
Which, in my opinion, the last place that I'm going to be working is in my duck hole because I don't want anybody else to know where my spots are.
Well, I mean, you think about it, though. If you go to every WMA's got holes that everybody knows about. Like, hey, there's a tree down in there last year. I tripped on it. Bill tripped on it.
Yeah.
Frank from another group, he tripped on it and about drowned out there. He couldn't get back up. He almost froze to death getting to the
He
ring.
needed a life jacket.
Because it was shallow water and he was in his regular outboard. He didn't want to run his mud motor because he had aftermarket exhaust on it and didn't want to ruffle any feathers, And
we almost lost him.
He had
Poor
frostbite. He's only got 3 toes on 1 foot. So
should have had better waders.
But it's something like that to where it's like you just go through there and, there's a blowdown out there. That looks like that'd probably be a good spot.
Yeah.
I remember we hunted over here. Birds worked this area. Let's clean that blowdown out.
Yeah.
Let's, and if it's already down, then hey, why not? Let's work that stuff up and get it completely out of here.
But
throw it in the back of the truck for firewood. I don't care.
We're dealing with the public, and when you give them an inch, they take a mile.
The government does the same thing.
Hey, true that. Exactly.
One of them learned it from the other one. I don't know who.
Yeah.
It's like people are people, you know?
It's that handshake emoji.
All right. Well, we'll stop talking about that. We don't want to get too riled up on it, but Matt, do you want to talk? What you
Hold
got?
on just
What
a
you
second.
got?
I wanted to ask, did y'all listen to the Dr. Duck podcast where they were talking with the owner of Gator Tail?
I haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah,
I
go
listened
back-
to a
go
lot
back
of
and
theirs,
listen
but
to
I
it.
haven't listened to that one.
That's a really good one.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay,
He's
I'll go
talking
back and
about,
listen to that.
you know, making things quieter for
Yeah.
WMAs and trying to work with WMAs and stuff like that, or commissioners and all
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, it was a good episode. I think if that's something that you're interested in, like, or that catches your attention, I go listen to it.
Yeah.
because it was really good.
I'll go listen to it. I like listening to their podcast.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Do you want to talk about what I'm wearing?
Yeah. So if you're one of our Apple or Spotify listeners and you're not watching this podcast, Forrest has been sitting here with a life jacket on for this entire podcast. The whole time he's been talking, he has had
Puddles
a life
got
jacket
deep
on.
outside, boys.
Yeah. So the reason he's wearing that is we are taking an initiative this year to promote life jacket safety, boating safety, whatever you want to call it. There's just too many accidents that we hear about year after year, and it is way too easy to put on a life jacket when you're in your boat. If you're running the boat, wear your kill switch. They do save lives. We all want to get back to our families. We're talking about our families. We love our wives, our kids, our friends, whatever you have at home. It's just too easy to not put one on and ensure that you're going to make the trip back home. So that's what we are really focusing on this year. Say the name of the company. I don't know why.
Onyx.
Onyx. It's like Onyx, but Onyx.
Like
I look
Onyx
at it.
Coffee. Onyx.
Oh, I don't drink coffee, so I didn't know that.
He
That's
doesn't
why.
drink coffee.
So we got with them this year. They sent us over a few life jackets. They are the inflatables that you can. Why don't you pull on that and see what happens?
It doesn't have the do-ditter.
I was
man.
watching.
I
I was
sure
hoping
was-
he was going to put it in.
I was
I
hoping
sure
Tyler
was
slipped
hoping.
one in while you were looking.
If he hadn't put it on as soon as he got here, I was going to put one in, and I was ready for him. But I've been watching him the whole time. He
It'd
put it
probably
on.
blew the mic out across the room.
But yeah, this year, guys, or women, whoever's listening, guys, ladies, just remember to put your life jackets on. It's way too easy. We're going to have them. If you see us and we don't have them on, call us out. If we see
Yell
you
at
and
us.
you don't have us on, and you don't have it on, call us out. If we are in a boat, you see a picture. What?
You lost me on who we were calling out.
Anybody.
Everybody call everybody out.
If you see anybody that's in a boat, they don't have a jacket on, life jacket on.
I feel like we're getting called out a lot.
Barry's like, I'm not hunting with these guys.
Our listeners, our friends that we know that listen to the
Exactly,
podcast, just help spread the word this year. And
We need a catchy catchphrase. A catchy catchphrase.
A catchy
a catchy
Yeah.
catchphrase. We're going to have to work on that.
Yeah. Well, I will let you do it.
All right. So, listeners, come up with a catchy catchphrase. If we pick it, we'll send you something.
There you go.
Catchphrase for what?
Wearing your life
Wearing your
jacket.
life jacket.
Catchphrase for catching life jackets.
Yeah.
Catching life
For
jackets?
catching life jackets.
For catching people wearing life jackets. Not
Oh,
wearing life
Lord.
This has gone down. Guys, wear your life jackets, please.
Yes.
Wear your
please.
life jackets.
Barrett,
We
do you want to
all-
wrap us up?
Oh, it's fun to be back. No, it's been good. We're getting close to season. Can anybody give us a glimpse into what we have coming up?
We don't even know what we got coming
It's
up.
a secret.
We have no idea.
It's a
We
secret.
have
So
no
secret,
clue.
We didn't
can't
even know
tell
you were coming tonight.
Exactly.
I looked up and seen headlights. And I
Yeah.
was like, 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh.
Get the gun. Somebody's coming in.
But season's getting close. We look forward to seeing you guys out there. Make sure you check us out. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe, give us a follow. Make it easy for Matt. We'll catch y'all later.